All right. Before I go into my watch list for Tuesday, November 22nd, I'm going to make a little short statement, if you will, about integrity. And I know I'm not supposed to do this. You know, you're not supposed to. If you own a restaurant, right? You're not supposed to talk about the restaurant 2 blocks over and tell everybody it's poison. It's just people need to figure it out on their own. I get that. I had to figure a lot of things out on my own, and it took me years and years. But I got to share this. You know, there's a guy out there who will take something like this RSLS, and on like the opening 30 seconds, opening 15 seconds, just tell everybody he's long, and then hope they follow. And in this case, just straight off a cliff. You know, and then I watch the comments below the videos. Here's another one real quick too. This BOXL, right? A lot of them do this after they're called, and then of course do this. This is musical chairs. This is it. Enough volume to get it started. I'm long somewhere in here is what, you know, and then everyone piles, and then it's just freaking musical chairs. That's not trading, by the way. And I think it takes very low integrity to do this and then act like you don't know people are getting burned, right? It's one thing to openly say, well, you know, hey, you're a dumbass. You chased it. I told you not to chase it, you know, and that's generally what people fall back on. Well, I told you, our disclaimer says never follow me. But at the same time, there's a video out. I made $7,000, right? And so people sign up for that because they want to chase those gains. People chase services just like they chase gains. And I can't tell you the number of charts, intraday charts, that end up looking like BOXL at the end of the day, and add insult to injury, the people that you know, that chased it and then got burned in the next. Because keep in mind, these are 2-minute candles, right? So it's people buying on the way up, people dumping, and it all happens in about 4 to 6 minutes. And to add insult to injury, these people go watch the video afterwards of what happened, and they say, "Damn, I got to get better," right? This guy made $3,000 on this trade, and I lost on it. I suck. And I'm just here to tell you that's not it at all. Anyone who does that and they advertise everywhere, I'm going to guess that some of these people, I'll word it like that. I'm going to guess that some of these people, their advertising budget is 6 figures a year. Now ask yourself, if you're a profitable, consistently profitable day trader, do you need to spend 6 figures a year on advertising? You don't. I'll answer it for you. You don't. But if you need new signups to have people to chase your crap that you're calling with no setup whatsoever other than I'm long, right? Because some volume came in and my high of day scanner picked it up, so now I'm long and I need you guys to buy it so I can sell to you, right? If you're a consistently profitable trader, you won't advertise. You might run a chat room. You might want, you might teach people, but you don't have to advertise. Anyway, I personally think it's disgraceful, and I know there's no way that I come off in these videos. I do this every now and then because I get kind of pissed, and there's no way that I come off in these videos as anything other than jealous of some other great trader. But I'll say this till the day I die. If I call a trade, I can give you no less than 3 reasons why I called it. And more than likely, it's going to have an inflection point with some stacked catalysts above. And this is why I'm going to enter it here. And my trade will work whether or not I call it in the room or I just happen to see it and take it quietly. Right? And that's what we try to teach people. Take a trade. You know, our whole course is built around me and Wayne getting hit by a car tomorrow, right? We get hit by a car tomorrow. Taking our course, you don't need us anyway. You know what a good setup looks like. So if you clicked on an ad, and I don't know how many people I'm reaching with this. Like I said, I'm more than likely coming off like an ass. But if you clicked on an ad and you want to make $7,000 in one day, right? And so then you buy the opening print because someone who obviously makes a ton of money says, I'm long RSLS, right? In the opening minute. This 2-minute candles in the opening minute. And then even they couldn't push it up with the volume of their followers, and so they dump it. How many people do you think did worse than the moderator? I'm gonna argue everybody in the entire room. And I would say, and then these morons blame themselves, but they're not morons. Man, when I started trading, I was chasing services. Anybody called anything in any chat room that I was paying a membership fee to, I'm taking it, right? And I know the disclaimer says don't do as I do, learn to trade on your own, blah, blah, blah. People, I know better. People only show up. They only show up because they want to make some easy money. I was the same way. So anyone who runs a service and is halfway smart, and the guy that I'm thinking about is super smart, you can't tell me he doesn't know that all these new and aspiring traders that have clicked on his ad because he makes so much money and they want to make it too. You can't tell me he doesn't know that they're blindly buying his crap the second after he buys it. Can't tell me, because he knows. And that's why I'm so outspoken when I see this crap. Right? Everyone makes bad calls. Everybody makes calls that don't work. But to create and sell a course when really this is all you do is sucker new traders into crap, sell to them, and then brag about your gains in the video, and then have them wondering what they did wrong. I'll tell you what y'all did wrong if you followed anybody like that. You're not trying to learn to trade. You're trying to make easy money by following someone who is absolutely taking advantage of you, knowing what your aspirations are, knowing that you're new, and knowing that you don't know better. I'm done babbling. I'm going to talk about my list now. Let's look at the SPY real quick. It gapped up today and actually closed fairly strong. Overall, if this was a regular company, it still wouldn't be bullish on this chart. Some might argue double bottom. I don't get mired down in that stuff because I know it could open at 255 tomorrow. It could open at 275 tomorrow. Macro news and all that. So I don't live and die by the SPY chart, but we did have a nice bounce today. So that's why I always start by looking at what the overall market did. TYME, this thing had a really nice volume day and resistance around 3. I will say this, I'll blow my own horn a little bit. Let me go to 5-minute candles here. Let me get this right. Okay, this volume spike right here lit up one of my scanners, right? So I saw TYME, and I looked at the daily at this point and said, wow, if this thing closes strong, now keep in mind this volume spike happened at 2:15 in the afternoon? No, 3:15 in the afternoon, my apology. So my thinking was if this closes strong, or if it looks like it's going to close strong, we might get a push to 3, and then the daily chart's going to look good and so on. So when you get strength like this and a strong looking daily chart before the closing bell, oftentimes these things will, you have a nice kind of second push. So it's already run a long way. So I'm not just going to blindly call this, but then I saw a big seller at 275 step in, and this is after it went up to whatever it was, 282. I love the daily chart at this point. So I didn't call that. I didn't say, hey guys, what I did was I actually typed in the room, does anybody else like this or something like that, through that 275 seller. A few people chimed in. Then it takes out the 275 seller right there, and then takes out the high of day. And then when it got up near 3, I said, hey, if anyone took it, this is probably a good place to peel off some shares, because on the daily chart is resistance, So there you go. And this is what it looks like now. So I just wanted to walk you through kind of a late day trade that I know some people got in. And again, I didn't give an official trigger and stop. I just said, hey, maybe through this 275 seller. And it did go to 3. And it was easy money because it just worked right away and didn't really look back. But now it's on the overnight list because really strong volume, obvious resistance at 3. Back here, it hung out around 3 for a while. So we might get a follow-through day in this one tomorrow. IPCI, I'll zoom in a little bit. Big volume today. I think FDA approval on something. But it certainly closed well off its highs. It went all the way up to almost 64 cents before settling in at 56 cents. The volume might catch some attention tonight and, maybe get a low-risk setup tomorrow. We'll see. ANY, after it halted today on the upside, and again, we were talking about it before it broke. It started to curl up. I said ANY is curling up. Then I was going to call it through the half, and before I could, it just ripped and then halted, came out of the halt. I suggested that this pullback here is worth looking at, but again, there's another one. I liked the pullback below 6 and near the the 5, 8, and so on. But I didn't give an official trigger on that one, and ended up going all the way up through 8 before finally rolling over. So do I like it tomorrow? Not really, but it's such an in-play stock. I don't like the fact that it gave back a lot of its gains today. But sometimes the very next day, or 2 or 3 days later, you get another great setup in it. So I'm going to watch any tomorrow, ANY, but I'm not in love with it now. It did give a couple opportunities today. General Motors had really strong volume and kind of broke above this 37 resistance area. So far, closing above the 200-day. Certainly worth watching tomorrow for a follow-through day. It's a little bit extended. SPWR, solar stock. Nice strong candle today. That's a really big candle for this stock, strong volume. Generally, after a big day like this, a candle that kind of dwarfs most of its daily range candles, the next day generally isn't a great day to trade. If you go back and look at a lot of charts, you'll see that. It's very rare that you get another big candle following through the next day, but I do want to keep this on my radar. Keep in mind when you watch the videos, if you're not in our chat room, I am in cash every night, and I use my overnight charts that I'm talking about right here to help me find intraday setups. So this is just a starting point, but I am in cash every night. So none of this is investment advice. AMPE popped to like 71 cents back here. Back here it hit 75 cents. Nice volume today and hit 71 cents again. So certainly might be ready to break out of this long range it's in. I like the volume today. We're going to watch it tomorrow. BJ gapped up on earnings back here, kind of sold off, but then right back up near the earnings day high. I'm going to have it on watch. I don't say I'm in love with it, but I'm going to have it on watch. SPWR I've already talked about. SONO. Bear with me. I had SPWR on my list twice. I got to erase that. All right, SONO. I've been looking for a bounce. After the gap up here, it's been selling ever since, and now we're to new all-time lows. A lot of people look at this and think, well, it's pretty damn bearish, Mike. And, it's hard to say because there's no chart to go on now, right? You look to the left and there's no chart. We're in uncharted territory for this stock. The fact that it's fallen from an intraday high of 1777 all the way down to 1161, I do think this is set up for a nice bounce one of these days. And again, I had it on watch today. No trades in it whatsoever because it didn't give any kind of signal, all right? PDD, I talked about this in the video last night, that I thought it was a little soon to be watching it, but you never know. And now it's done what I was looking for. It's come down in this zone between the 8-day and the 20-day moving average. Smaller volume than this big day right here. So I do like this one, especially if there's any kind of positive China talk tomorrow, which that could come out at any time. So stay on your toes for that. NIO, I hate the way this thing trades, but you kind of have a cup and then you have a handle forming, lower volume. It did touch the 20-day. Not my favorite trader, but I am going to keep it on a chart. And then lastly, I've got TIS, which gapped up on big volume yesterday. Look at that, 15.2 million shares. And then the very next day, I'm sorry, yesterday would be actually Friday. Then the very next day, all the way down to 1.3 million. That's a little bit odd to have that kind of a drop off in volume. But I still kind of like it. If it takes out today's high over 170, maybe you get through 2 and and through the open of the gap up day and so on. So it is worth watching, and I do believe they had news that caused the gap up. Should be plenty of gappers in the morning on top of what we're watching here. So there should be plenty to trade tomorrow. Had a decent day today, and and Mondays is my least favorite day to trade because morning gap plays usually don't follow through or don't set up, but then it's kind of like the opening round of a fight. That's how I look at Monday morning. Nobody really wants to just dive in one way or the other. They're feeling, bulls and bears feeling each other out, and so usually trading gets a little better the rest of the week. That's all I've got. Check out down below. You can get involved in our chat room if you're not a member. We've got the cost of entry down to $79. So you might be interested in a chat room that actually teaches setups and risk management, teach you how to trade. And if you've clicked on an ad and gotten your ass handed to you, I think you're going to be very, very surprised at the difference if you check us out. I'm done babbling. See you guys tomorrow.